So I've created a very short presentation on Adobe stock and why I think it's going to be a great stock pick in the future. Maybe now, who knows. Anyways, starting off, Adobe stock is down so much. I mean, come on. It's went from like 650 to 200 in the matter of less than a year, really. I always beg the question when stocks go down this much, have they really reduced by like 60% in value? Has their, future shrunk by that much? I don't think so. Now, obviously this comes with a bit of bias. Maybe they have. So, obviously, through the rest of this video, I'm going to try and be unbiased until I become biased again. So, why is it down so much? Let's talk about the reasons. There's three main reasons. Now, a guy called Dan Dern, he was a good fella for the company. A lot of people had a lot of confidence in him, and he decided to leave for another company. And I think a lot of people are very worried about Adobe now that, well, how on earth are they going to keep up with all the other AI companies that are able to make images and that sort of thing when they haven't got their beloved CFO who happens to know so much about it? I don't think this is a huge deal. Of course, great CFO, but a great company isn't made by one person. And so I don't think the market's reaction to that is necessarily appropriate. Now let's go on to the next reason. Adobe's been trying to keep up with its competitors, things like Midjourney, other AI platforms, things like Canva. And by doing this, they've tried to, get more customers in by keeping a lot of their AI tools free, which, to be frank, so have a lot of their competitors, and a lot of people have been using Adobe as a result of it. Now, this is growing their customer base, and their AI tools are fairly good, but I think there's a lot of investor concern that, well, they're just leaking money. I think it was about 500 million a year that they're missing out on in revenue to if they were like charging for their AI tools, which, I mean, it could be a strategic play. I don't know. It could be a terrible idea. Who knows? Anyways, next reason. The biggest one, arguably, is the fact that there's a lot of other stocks at the minute, a lot of other, creative industries that are being powered a lot by AI. And people are starting to think, well, why would anyone buy, what is a fairly expensive-ish software when they could potentially get the same thing from a different platform for free? Now, all of this has led to that massive downturn in price that we saw right here. Now, for me to talk about why I don't think that's appropriate. And as I said here, overall, it's about AI. It's all AI. I think that's really stupid. I think the market's pushing down things based on assumptions, not on reality and not on anything like that. And I think now would be a great time to say I do own 1 or 2 shares of Adobe. Not a huge amount. It's still probably a good portion of my money. I don't have that much. But it is a portion of it. So, maybe there's some bias here. Maybe it'll keep going down all the way to 0 and I'll end up being poor. But who knows? Anyways, let's look at the facts. They're doing well. Realistically, their earnings are going up, their revenue's going up, their profitability. I mean, judge that how you will, but it looks like it's going up to me. Now, yeah, they're not monetizing AI yet. However, their earnings are going up regardless of the fact that they're not doing that. Now, in the future, if they actually do start to monetize things and do that in a good way, which I do think will be able to happen without them becoming uncompetitive, I imagine their earnings are going to grow a whole lot more than they currently have. So I think that's something that I expect at some point in the future. I don't know when, but I think at some point it will go up. I do, in my heart, believe that Adobe is probably a good long-term play. Now, as I've said here, quite passionately, they're undervalued relative to their competitors. Things like Microsoft, they have an EV to EBITDA ratio of almost double that of Adobe's. Now, they're both basically software stocks. Both of them have a lot of AI tools. Why is it that Adobe is so much less valuable on its books than something like Microsoft? What is the reasoning behind that? Now, that's a question you can answer yourself, but to me, that sounds more like it's about market fears and things like that rather than actual, this is where the company is and this is how well we think it's going to do. I mean, look at its enterprise value. It's going down a whole lot. And a lot of that is just because people aren't spending as much money to invest in it because they don't have as much belief. I mean, come on. Has it really lost, what's that there, $140 billion in value in 2 years? I personally don't think it's became $140 billion less valuable. I mean, come on, that's like the GDP of some countries. I mean, yeah. So, the AI compares. They ain't looking great either. AI's getting way more expensive. I mean, even Claude and stuff like that, they've been like, maybe we can't keep doing this forever, because at the end of the day, all of the other AI things are heavily subsidized, just like Adobe's doing at the minute. But one day, they aren't going to have that same funding because people are going to start to lose their belief in AI that's going to like modernize the world. There will be an event when that happens and AI becomes a tool, but it's going to be a much more expensive tool than it is right now. So I think AI is going to become almost more like a luxury than it is what I guess people are expecting it to become a daily part of life. And I think that might pave the way for companies that still do have a lot of like manual working like Adobe to actually re-enter the market, because they have AI tools that can assist human working but not completely replace it, like things like Midjourney and that sort of thing. So I think it's going to be more realistic for AI to enhance human workload than it is to completely replace it. And I think that's what a lot of the market's been banking on, is that, oh well, we won't even need software anymore because it's just going to get replaced. I can't see that happen personally. Next slide. Adobe's leaning into it. They are implementing AI, and as I've just said, they're allowing professionals to create things faster. They're not trying to replace it. And once AI eventually starts to lose its footing, which is probably just a matter of time unless they miraculously find a way to like stop being financial black holes, realistically, companies like Adobe, which are focusing on enhancing rather than replacing, I think they're going to do a lot better, and they're actually going to be capitalizing on the benefits of AI rather than getting outcompeted by it. As I've said here, consider it's almost down 60% from its all-time highs. Really, has it lost 60% of its long-term potential value? I think not. Overall, they have strong They have strong fundamentals. They are a good company. They have sticky revenue. I can't see it going anywhere. And realistically, the way they've been implementing AI so far and that sort of thing, I think they're going to carry on doing well. I think they're going to probably do even more well if they implement things right. And I can't see how a good company like them will start doing things wrong, because that would just be really stupid. So, I mean, I've said here, I personally could see the price around 400 or 500. That's probably completely wrong. Knowing my luck, it'll be 50 by the end of the year and I'll have lost, 3/4 of my money. However, I do feel like that's a realistic valuation. Maybe. It's all a maybe. But that is the way I feel about it. I don't think AI is going to replace it, and I think a lot of the market fears has pushed Adobe stock down, and I don't think it should be as down as it actually is. I think 400 or 500, maybe even 300, is a realistic sort of price for them once things stabilize a bit in the market. So yeah, as I've said here, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a certified financial advisor at losing money. So if you're looking to lose money, take my advice. But I do think it's undervalued, and who knows, maybe it could be my one-off time when I've been right about a stock. But yeah, thank you for listening to my absolute waffle. Please do your own research if you're thinking about investing, because all of my stuff needs to be taken with a grain of salt. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Cheers. Goodbye.